So to continue, from this pivot, I've continued to play around with settings and I got it about as best as I can. We have 4 down candles, 1 up, 4 down candles, 1 up. I have 2 down candles, 2. Then right here, I have 3 up. Here I only have 2 up. Here I have 2 down. I only have 1 down. But then this pivot to that pivot, that's kind of important. Pivot to pivot runs of candlesticks is the most important, more than what's going on in congestion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 2 down, 2 up, 4 down. 2 down, 2 up, 4 down. And then here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's another candle there, 11. So I'll call that about 95% dialed in. And the congestion is not really the areas I'm worried about getting in as much. It's the pivot to pivot, the clean moves. Do they match in total number of candlesticks? And where did we end up? We ended up at the 53. So I'm set on 1 tick, last 53 brick size. Advanced Classic, and I'm on a 55-45, which means I really had to, I minimized down the offset a bit from a typical 50-50. And that's good. That's about as good as I can get it. Now, what I want to do is play with the AIQ1 indicator so I can see that the signals are about as close as possible in the areas of price on Quantower that I have them on the NTA platform. So let's look at some of the last signals here. We have a signal here out of the lift. We have one there. Now this is on bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's on bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, no, this is on bar 6. So right away I can tell I need to dial that in. And this isn't on like a super responsive setting. It's on a responsive setting. I could dial it in even more. This currently, if I'm not mistaken, the AIQ1 indicator is set on a 5, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go look for the period. Yeah, 5. This particular AIQ1 indicator, I think, is set on a 5. Let's drop that down to a 4. And let's pull up NinjaTrader one more time. And then let's look. Now here, I do have a down signal. So here I do not. So this is why candlestick construction makes a big difference. So now I look over, let's kind of look over at some other signals. Let me minimize this chart a bit. Let me narrow it up a bit. Let's pull up NinjaTrader. And I'm going to narrow that up a bit. So we have 2 down signals. We have an up signal. No down signals. We have the little W pattern play out. You can see that clear in NT8. And I built these candles in NT8 back years ago to be able to see W and M patterns clearly. Some of that mindset was translated into the logic. And then we have a lift signal. We have that there. Now, price is just starting to get linear here a bit, but not enough for NT8 on these settings to pick it up. We do pick it up here on Quantower. So anyhow, here you can see we have a signal on Quantower. On the down move, here we don't, but we do have the up signal. So what that's telling me is to get the signals to match up between the two platforms, on Quantower, I need to lag it back to the 5 setting. And let's go take a look at NT8. And up signal, down signal, down signal. Secondary down signal, secondary down signal. Long signal out of lift, long signal out of lift. Long signal after the W pattern out of lift, long signal, long signal, long signal. So will I ever get these two charts perfectly aligned? No, I won't. But it's a process. And if somebody went and spent another 10, 15 minutes, you might be able to get the charts, another 2 or 3%. I'm probably at like about a 93% match. You could get to maybe 95. I don't think you'd ever get these charts, 100% to 100%. Just not going to happen. Because every platform's different too, where they start, one candle and end another candle, and going back the same amount of days of data, and so on and so on. Now, again, we're trying to get Quantower to give us the exact code that's in these candles over on Quantower. Then we should be able to get somewhere between maybe a 97 and a 99% match, even closer. And then that would be, plenty close enough. So does it mean one platform's got signals better than the other? Well, currently, I like the candlestick better in NT8 than we have in Quantower, at least when it comes to Rankos. But you can take this now. We know what the settings are. I put templates up for the NT8 side. From these videos, you'll see the settings we're using here. And then you can speed this up. You can speed the signals up very simply by leaving everything alone in the offset, but dropping the tick size. So if this chart is too slow for you, pretty much leave the settings alone. Just drop it down. Go to a 51. Go to a 49. Go to a 47. And get the chart as sensitive and as responsive as you want it. And then boom, then you can go right up here, click on those little 3 horizontal lines area, and you can go in and save a template, give this template a name. I'll start off the template. I'll just call it MNQ underscore. This would be my left chart. So I'll put left hand underscore, and I'm going to put a 53. So I know that it's a 53 setting as my Renko setting. So we're trying to align this with the MNQ 37 chart template from the NinjaTrader 8 platform. Now I'm going to apply the bands, the super bands. So I'm going to save that for now, and I'll just keep adding stuff till we get it dialed in. So I'll call this dialed in for now, about as close as I'm going to get it to NT8. Could I go in and do more work? Yes. I could go in and make the IQ indicator more sensitive if I wanted to. It would be better, though, to leave these settings alone. And actually, if you wanted your chart to be on a little bit of a lower time frame and a little bit more responsive, then just adjust this down. And Rankos, there's a specific reason why. I won't go into it. Odd numbers tend to work better when you're using offset Rankos. So you could go down to a 51, you could go down to a 49, a 47, and get to a speed of chart and a number of signals for the moves you're trying to identify. As we look for levels tests, level sweeps, W pattern and lifts, M pattern and rollovers, and so on, to get the signals dialed in so you can do what I call just trade the signals, TTS. Trade the signals, where you go in and you have stuff where you really like it, and you basically just execute bracketed trade entries around signals. You get a signal, launch your bracket with your fixed amount of risk, trade goes X amount of distance in your intended direction, stop moves to break even plus, and then your bracketed trade entry manages trail stop and whatever from there. Same kind of process with automated. With automated, we could go in, though, and run optimization to dial us in. So there we have it. I have those matched up about as best as I'm going to get it for now, for this example. And now let me apply the super bands to match it up as close as I can with what we have in NT8. Okay, over on NT8, I have settings for the super bands of 233, 2.9, 12, and 2.5. So I tend to, be right in that 2.7 to 2.9 range for pretty much any chart that I ever use the super bands to give me what is the bigger picture look of the most recent dynamic range of price. But we'll match these settings and then we'll make a template, and I'll put the templates below these two videos for Quant Tower. So you have a good set of templates for the left chart, right chart to do the trade the signals approach that I'll be evolving the training into after we just had the last module where I'm dialing in settings to match between the two. We wrap it up with this video. Then we get into trade the signals aspects of training for the AIQ1 program tools, or the AIQ program tools, Algo IQ. So we're going to go 23, 2.9, 12, 2.5. So let's right click, let's go into indicators and add the super bands. So there's AIQ super bands. We'll add that. I'm going to go 233. We're going to go 2.9. We're going to go 12. And let me check here on NinjaTrader. Was I about a 2.5 if I remember? 2.5. Yeah, there we go. So we'll go 2.5. And then I'll take a look. So that all looks good. And we'll close that out. We have the bands on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and just play with some thicknesses and colors, kind of get it in so the two match, and then we'll come back and adjust settings as needed. Okay, the coloration of everything looks good. You can see we just skirted right below the main bands here. For the most part, we did that. This was just starting to press outside the bands. We're getting that. Let's take a look at this lower area. We had a little piercing outside, a little piercing outside. Actually, that's right on the lines. We were pressing below, and you can see right here the bands on NT8 look a little bit more responsive than what I have on Quant Tower. And again, remember, these indicators are reading the candlesticks. So I can tell right away I need to go into Quant Tower and make just a few little tweaks here to get these a bit more dialed in. So I'm going to go right away. I'm going to go into the bands, and I'm going to go to about a 2.8. And I'm going to drop this down a bit. Let's go to a 10. Now let's look at these two. Let me pull up the NT8. Okay, NT8, we have the piercing outside. We have a little, not quite as responsive as NT8 as of yet. And this is a little more of a rounded turn. This is a more V bottom. And when I'm trading with my left chart, I like stuff to be real crisp, the turning points. We still have this just below. Here it's just underneath and just touching the band. So for the most part, the band width, I'll go down just a little bit more on the main bands, but I'm really going to speed up the fast bands on the Quant Tower side. And this is just if I want to like really match it up. So that's matched up. Here I'm going to go to a 2.75, and I'm just going to leave it there and call it good. This is still not fast enough for me. I like to see like V-ish, like almost a V-shaped pattern to it when we're getting turning points. And again, it's these indicators are reading the candlesticks. Okay, 6 is about good. Now let me take a look at these two. And let's look at this area. Presses outside. Presses outside. I'm getting some lift now. I'm getting lift there. This one I have set a little bit of a darker green. This one's more of a lime color. I could go and adjust that. We get the down, get a little bit of a W pattern in the green part of the fast bands. So overall, I'm pretty much pleased with the look that the two charts are relatively close to each other. I could go down with my fast bands and speed it up just a tad more. So let's do one other exercise here. Let's go take this to a 5. And let's go down to the fast bands. right here, and let's color them a bit brighter. I don't want them super green. So let me go down just a little bit, and we'll call that good. And now let's pull up NT8, and I think I'll have them, I get a little bit of lift here. I'm getting some lift there now. Actually, I don't like that color of green here. I'm going to go a little bit more in a certain direction with that color just to finalize it. And I'll pull up NT8 here just so I can see that color real good as I'm adjusting this one. Okay, let me go a little bit. Let's go just a little bit. Okay, I'll call that good. I'll just call it good. Doesn't have to be perfect like NT8, but for the most part, I want the turning point. See how this lifts a little bit over the main band, then down, lifts a little bit over the main band, down, lifts. So for the most part, I have these charts dialed in. This band here didn't go outside of the main band enough to give a signal. Here it did. So, I mean, I could go in and widen this out just a tad. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go back here and let's widen this out just a tad. See if we can do it to a point where we lose that signal. And actually we lose both signals now. So let's go into NT8. NT8 did have a signal here, a signal there. So what I would need to do then is go play with the fast band setting in conjunction with the main band settings to really match those two up. Here I'm pressing in and touching the band. Here I am, so that's looking decent. For the most part though, we're really, really close. So I could go a little bit faster still with this setting. Let me just see what happens here if I do that. Let's go to a 4. And let's widen this out just a tad. Let's go to 2.9. And I think I'll just leave it right there. Let's pull up NT8. And in the end, I'm not on, live running data. I'm on look back of things. So for the most part, though, I have all the hooks and activities for the most part in the same areas and so on. So, this is just a process, and it's to get the two charts to match up as close as possible. So if I'm working trade the signals activity on one platform at the same time I'm working them on accounts with a different platform, I'm seeing the signals in the relative exact same areas, if that makes sense. So that's the whole exercise behind this, is to adjust my charts to get signals in the relative area. And I'm not talking every signal like in a grinding downtrend, but at turning points, when we have key turning points, I want to see signals. Like if I have a turning point, I want to see a signal. If I have a turning point, I want to see a signal. And you can see just the way the candles are constructed, this detected some linear price momentum out of that lift before a little period of scrubbiness, where this one, I still got the signals a tad late. I got the secondary signal in about the same place, and so on. So am I going to get all the signals perfectly the same? No, not until I can get the candlesticks matched up. But I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 signals there. In consolidation, I might get one signal more on NT8 than I do here, and so on. But for the most part, in the key areas where I'm getting very reactive price activity, I'm getting the signals in those key areas. Push, reversal, yeah, I have signal. Big drop, lift, signal, drop, lift, signal, and so on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to save this template. So save as a template. And I'm going to go in and let's go back here, or let's replace an existing one. There we go. We're going to replace that one. And now I have this template saved. This is my left chart template. So I'll post this template in the room. Now I'm going to go do the same process for my right chart in NinjaTrader. So here's the right chart. And I'm going to go match this all up. I'm not going to shoot a video on it, but I'll go make a template. So that way you can have a left chart and a right chart template in Quantower that's as close as we can get it to what we have in NT8 to at least follow along and have all the training cohesive on what type of setups I'm working between the two platforms. So anyhow, there you have it. That's the process of dialing stuff in. I've created template. I already have the NT8 templates at our Algo IQ private community. I'll now add the Quantower templates in conjunction with these two training videos. And then now we're going to move into trade the signals portion of the training.